These berries are packed with antioxidants, but they don't taste that great. So let's make them into a syrup so that it's easier to enjoy. And also a bonus kombucha using the waste from the syrup. Now here in Korea, these are called aronia berries, but they're also known as choke berries if you're into that kind of stuff. These are locally grown around where I live, and since they're in season, I picked some up. I've gone ahead and washed these already, and then I'm going to pick the berries off the stems and then give them a quick crush just to break the berry skin. Now I measured the berries, and luckily for me, they came out to pretty much exactly 1 kilogram. Which makes it super easy to weigh out the exact amount in sugar, since someone's already done it for me. I'll add about 1/3 of the 1 kilogram of sugar to my berries and then mix it all together to coat the berries, and then transfer them to a jar. Cover the berries with the rest of the sugar on top, and then close the container. Now I let that sit for about a week, and in that time, the sugar has drawn out a lot of the liquid from the berries, and it's also fermented a little bit. But giving it a taste, it hasn't quite got that aronia berry taste yet. So just to help things along, I'm going to use an immersion blender to blend up all the berries into a paste, which should also help that little bit of leftover sugar dissolve and get more of that aronia berry flavor into the syrup. I put this in the fridge though because I didn't want it to ferment any further, and I ended up forgetting about it for a couple weeks. But when I remembered about it finally, I separated out the solids from the syrup, and you can see how deep the color of the syrup has become. But there was still quite a bit of syrup left in the berries, so I put them into a filter bag and then weighed it down overnight in the fridge to extract that last bit of syrup. So from the overnight pressing, I ended up with under 1 liter of syrup from 1 kilogram of berries. But now I have all these berry solids that still have some flavor and sweetness to them. So I took that filter bag full of solids and then put them into some of my kombucha base overnight in the fridge to get that last bit of flavor out of them. As for the syrup, this has that berry-like fruitiness to it, along with a slight bitterness and astringency from the berries, but surprisingly a little bit of molasses, but I suspect that may be from the sugar. After its overnight steeping though, I'll water down the kombucha with some jasmine tea, hook it up to some CO2 overnight for some carbonation, and now I also have a fruity, floral, and slightly sour kombucha with an amazing head of foam.